Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Leydi Morales. It is going to be very noisy right now. The weather right now is beautiful and I had to take advantage of it. It's like cloudy and it's just, this is my kind of weather. I love it. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry. And we're going to be doing things a little bit different. For those of you guys who don't know, I officially, today's video actually is officially the first video on my Confessions of a Plus Size Eating Disorder Survivor channel. I'm going another direction with my channel, and I actually, because for those of you guys who don't know, I also write. I am a blogger besides being a vlogger, so I'm gonna actually take some of my blog posts and kind of use them as a script in a sense for my videos, and I'm gonna go off of them because I will, just elaborate a little bit more and give you some more examples. So we're gonna try this out and see if it works. I work best when I have things written down and I know what order to go to, and to make sure that I stay on track and I'm not going on a rant like right now. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about if intuitive eating works, then why am I not thin yet? And I'm speaking in the context of, the perspective of you looking at me as an audience, as well as your own personal journey, regardless of what where you're at in your journey. So when I was recovering from binge eating and orthorexia, I noticed that almost everywhere I turned, I'm trying to make sure I don't I noticed that almost everywhere I turned in regards to help and inspiration for eating disorder recovery, the women I looked up to were thin, and I wasn't. I just came off a cycle of chronic yo-yo dieting, orthorexia, binge eating, and extreme hunger, and I was also overweight, which a part of me felt so much shame because the stereotype is that a woman who has an eating disorder or recovered from an eating disorder is supposed to be petite and a certain size. And, a lot of the women that I worked with did talk about, as I said, they were thin, and they did talk about, you have to take the focus off the weight. You have to take the focus off the weight. And a part of me felt, I understood that logically, but my whole entire life, I was criticized. I felt not worthy because of my weight, because I was overweight, obese, fat, and I was aspiring to this life of being thin, and so for me, a part of me felt angry at them. Not to try to devalue them or how they look or whatever, because an eating disorder is an eating disorder, and it doesn't discriminate. But a part of me was like, you being a thin woman telling me to take the focus off the weight. And you don't know what it's like to be overweight and be plus size and still have an eating disorder. Part of me was angry about that. So I definitely understand. For all my plus size girls, it's a problem. It's a legit concern, and it's a legit thought. And don't feel bad for thinking like that. It's totally normal. And so we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth. So why is everyone who has recovered from an eating disorder thin? The more I learned about recovery and turned to guidance from my inspirational coaches and influencers, the more hope grew inside me in regards to losing weight. I believe that once I became recovered and I was an intuitive eater, that the weight was going to fall off naturally. Eventually, the expectation for the weight loss actually kept me stuck in diet mentality because I was looking at intuitive eating as a weight loss program, which was anything but. And that's a problem. If you're coming into this, first and foremost, if you're coming into intuitive eating thinking that you're going to lose weight, you've already failed, because intuitive eating is not a weight loss program. It's not. I'm sorry. And anybody who tells you otherwise, that you're guaranteed to lose weight, doesn't know what the hell they're doing, or is trying to sell you a bogus product and you need to run the other way. Because nobody can tell you, even the author from Intuitive Eating, I forgot her name, even she said, even me being a medic, a qualified health professional, cannot tell you that you will lose weight on intuitive eating. Nobody can. All right? Over time, as I was recovering, and my weight loss stabilized, but I was also very overweight. As the weight didn't change, I couldn't help but feel disappointed, if I'm being honest. And if intuitive eating worked, I should be losing weight at this point. I didn't take into consideration the fact that I have recovered my hunger cues after my entire life, not even knowing what hunger cues were or felt like. Not acknowledging the fact that my body was no longer gaining weight and it stabilized. Never minding the fact that my acne healed and my digestive system was back to normal. That my mind was no longer occupied with food thoughts and binge eating. Oh, and my focus was shifted towards my life and the next goals that I wanted to accomplish. But fuck that. Why was I not losing weight? I always had this vision that one day when I was recovered, that I was going to be thin and tell the world and bring them hope and on why they should be intuitive eaters. but I was still trying to go for that dream fantasy, that dream thin fantasy. I was so attached to it. The sad reality was, the more I attached to that dream, the more that I noticed I was starting to fall back into the old diet mentality, and which triggered my relapse. And I'm going to elaborate this in a little bit. I fell back into the trap that I thought losing weight and being thin was going to make me happy. But if being thin made everyone happy and live a life of just rainbows and unicorns, and every thin woman in the world would be so happy, and none of them would commit suicide. And bear with me, I know what I'm saying with this, but the reality is thin women do commit suicide. So it was always a dream of mine to one day when I recovered completely, that I would spread the message to as many people who would listen to me. And a part of me, though, when I noticed that the weight had stabilized, even though like I had all these amazing health benefits, the weight stabilized, and as much as I wanted to talk about intuitive eating and recovery and how it worked for me, I felt like a part of me, or like people would not see me as a legit source or give me credibility because I was fat, because I was overweight. And because again, there's this idea like a woman who's preaching the same thing that I'm preaching, who is thin, they get the credibility because, oh, it works for them, so let me like listen to her because like she's giving me hope that I can still have my dream body. But like somebody like me is like, oh yeah, like she's just doesn't have willpower, she's lazy, etc., etc. And I know getting into this position what I'm going to be up against, and I'm mentally trying to prepare myself for that. But that's the sad reality. And I held on to this dream vision of being thin. And what I mean when I say that thin women, if being thin made everyone happy, then no, all the thin women would be happy in the world and none of them would commit suicide. What I'm really saying that is, people commit suicide unfortunately, of all shapes and sizes and backgrounds, unfortunately, and I hate to say that, but thinking that being thin is going to make you happy and it's this dream fantasy where you're just going to live a life full of rainbows and unicorns. Nobody's life is perfect. I don't care what influencer you see on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, none of their lives, everybody's going through fucking shit, guys. Everybody's going through a battle nobody knows nothing about. If you think being thin is going to make all your problems go away, you're up for true disappointment. And that's what I mean by that. That's what I'm not to like devalue or oppress thin women. That's totally not the case. I'm against that. So why am I not thin yet? $1 million question. In the end, you can't beat science. Our bodies are biological organisms, not robots or machines. I learned through the years that my body would never do anything to hurt me, and it was not made to make my life miserable. It is with me, not against me, because my body has healed me from eating disorders. It finally had hunger cues after years of not having them. It healed me from acne. It healed my digestive it's getting darker, y'all, sorry. It healed my digestive system, and I got my period back. I have healed from past sickness, illness, wounds, flus, aches, pains, etc. without me needing to do anything. In other words, I learned to simply trust my body and know that if it is overweight, it's for a good reason, not just for shits and giggles. That's not in a blog post, by the way. It knows far more than I do, and only my body knows what's right for me. Only my body knows what is right for me. So will I lose weight? I don't know, but at this point in my life, I can't afford to focus on weight and trying to change it. What I can tell you, and this goes for everyone who is underweight, overweight, or anywhere in the middle, and listen to me when I say this, it's in bold even. Just like you can be triggered by weight gain in your recovery, you can also be triggered with weight loss. Again, just like you can be triggered with weight gain during your recovery, you can also be triggered with weight loss. Sorry guys, that's my dog. If you focus on the weight loss and you see it as you are doing it right, you will fall back into that diet mentality and you will start focusing on the foods that you're eating and being the perfect intuitive eater. Believe me, I fell into that trap in the past multiple times, and just like I was tempted to be a perfect just like I was tempted to go back on a diet when I was gaining weight, I found myself falling back into that perfect intuitive eater mentality when I noticed I was not losing weight. That's important, guys.
Yeah.
Look.
But yeah, I'm gonna talk
to
you.
Say hi. Hey guys, this is my brother. Get closer.
Oh.
He's the one who graduated from the Marines that I was telling you about.
It was boot camp, recruit training.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
We graduated from recruit training.
Whatever. Alright. That's my sister.
They look ratchet.
As y'all can tell, I have the looks in the family. I'm just kidding.
You're so funny.
Alright, I gotta finish this. I would not trade myself to be fit and thin and miserable for being overweight and living with freedom. And I mean that with all honesty. I really, really do. Because when I was forcing myself to be thin, I hated my life so much. I hated the binge eating, the severe aches, and my life's devotion to just two things, which is food and weight. And I hated not being able to go on vacation without the constant obsession of food and overeating. Not being able to live my life because I was so consumed with trying to lose weight and doing everything I can to get my dream body and that I was postponing my life, excuse me. So many years were wasted, especially in my youth, of trying to achieve that perfect body that just doesn't exist. Ask the women who see themselves, who you see killing themselves at the gym with that dream bod. Most of them are the most disordered and insecure. They will say they have so much to work on or so much work to do on their bodies, and will give you a billion reasons why, why their bodies need work. But no matter how fit they get, it's just never enough. And how many of us can relate to that? No matter how thin we got, how in shape we got, how much weight we lost, it was never enough. We always had so much to go in our minds. And then we look back on those pictures and we look at ourselves and we're like, wow, we were so disordered. It's true body dysmorphia. Now, would I want to live that type of life and be thin? Hell fucking no. I enjoy the times I can eat my ice cream and focus on writing without worrying or getting anxiety over what time I'm going to make it to the gym to burn it all off. But how do you really measure success in eating disorder recovery? So success in intuitive eating is not to be measured if you lose weight or not, because as I said earlier, if you do, you will relapse and you will start feeding the eating disorder beast again. You judge your success in intuitive eating by so many other ways. Is your focus shifting towards your life and the things that actually matter and drifting away from the constant obsession with food? Is your digestive system healing? Is your attention going towards things that interest you? Are your cravings diminishing? Are you noticing how hunger feels like? Are you noticing that you eat your food and then move on, or at least little small successes of that nature? Is your period coming back? Is your sex drive starting to come back? Are you doing more things that have nothing to do with weight and food? This is how we measure success in intuitive eating. Really quickly, let me tell you a quick success story that I had was when I was really truly recovering and I had let go of all the rules. I noticed, sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out the lighting. I noticed that I was forgetting little things, like little small successes. Like I would forget that I had a chocolate bar in my purse, and I had it there for weeks, or that it was taking me weeks to finish chocolate or a pint of ice cream. Like those small little things, like I would eat them and I would move on with my life and never think about it again. So those are the small things, guys, really do add up. I mean that 100%. Like they do add up. They do add up. In conclusion, I can't say what's going to happen with my weight or not. The beauty is when you fully recover and you let go of your attachment to your weight, you will no longer care because your focus has shifted to your life and you have more important things and better problems to worry about. You have two choices, guys. Force yourself to be thin and be miserable in the process, or learn to trust your body for lifelong freedom. Here's to all things eating disorder recovery, Leydi Morales. So I just want to finish a few things off because I know it's like super dark. Can't believe I'm doing. Oh, I should have just. Anyway. I can say time and time again, take the focus off the weight, take the focus off the weight. But really, it's not so much about taking the focus off the weight, it's about learning how to detach your identity from your weight, and knowing that just like you're not your mind, you're not your body as well. If you guys want a video on learning how to detach from your weight and to let go of the resistance towards your weight for lifelong freedom, definitely let me know in the comments below or in like this video. I would be more than happy to do a video about that. But you guys really have to understand that intuitive eating, the success is not measured in weight loss. It's measured in how much is your focus shifting from weight onto your life, and again, seeing the amazing benefits of intuitive eating. so I hope this blog post answered your questions, and I really, you know, if you guys want me to elaborate more on this and go into more details, by all means, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And until then, I am wishing you guys nothing but the best in your recovery. I'll talk to you guys soon. What in the world? I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, bye guys.